Welcome to Families and Children's Justice. May I have your name?
Patty Cromer.
May I have your?
I'm Aaron Cromer.
Aaron Cromer. So do I have your permission to video this and put on Families and Children's Justice Show?
Yes.
WHPR TV. Okay. Could you give me your experience, Aaron, when you was taken and placed into some kind of sheriff home or something other? And give. Oh, okay. Give the name of it and what happened and what was going on there.
The Georgia Sheriff's Boys Ranch. They took me from my parents, and Judge Hardy put me there in the Boys Ranch. And within about 2 weeks of me being there was like 6 kids that got raped. And so anyway, I ended up saying bye. I just left, and I ran for 2 years, or a year and a half. It was like 15 months.
Right.
Now I'm here. I ran till I was 18.
Mm-hmm. And mother, so there was children in the ranch being sodomized by other children.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And did the professional there, the staff, did they do anything about it?
I think they did. I'm not sure what they did, but.
And the name of it, and what city, county, where was it at?
Georgia Sheriff's
Boys Ranch, and it was in Valdosta, Georgia.
Hayhara, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
It's a little town outside of Valdosta.
Okay. So, mother, how did you feel about your son being taken away?
Well, we were, of course, just fearful for his well-being, and also because we had no contact with him. And even my sister and Aaron's oldest brothers, our sons, were trying to contact him, and they were not allowed to make contact, and Aaron was not allowed to make any phone calls. So then the fear, of course, was heightened because of that.
Now, why did the state wanted your son to be separated, where he couldn't get calls from family members, and you the mother? Did you do anything to provoke this, or did Aaron do anything to, to provoke it?
They want to keep the kids. That's all they want, is to keep the kids. So as soon as we started saying, all of us kids that were taken, as soon as we started saying that we wanted to go home, that's when they shut off all the contact, and they wrote down on all their paperwork, they said that our parents were, what did they say? Like trying to influence us, or they were saying that my mom and dad told us to say that we wanted to go home.
But really, they influencing you guys not to be.
Not to, right?
Yeah.
That's what. So then, when they did get us to say something one time about not wanting to go home or something, then that's what they stuck with on the paper. Mm-hmm. Or they would do stuff like, they would ask you where you wanted to live, and when you'd say, I want to go home, and they say, well, you can't go home. Where else would you want to go? You say, well, I guess I'd go. They'd give you options, like Miss Davis's, or like that's the place that I had lived. They'd give you a few options, but when you said you wanted to go home, they'd say that's not an option. Where else? Pick another option. Mm-hmm. When you pick an option,
it's terrible.
Then that's what they would say. They would say that you said you wanted to go live at the foster care home instead of with your parents. When you said you wanted to go with your parents, but they told you.
And so how that played out is the guardian ad litem, who had almost no contact with the children, but was speaking for the children and what's the best interest and for what they wanted. So like Aaron said, he would say, or the other children would say, I want to go home. I just want to go home. Then they would say, that's not an option. So do you want to go live with your sister, or do you want to go to the boys' ranch? Well, so then of course he would say, well, I'd rather go live with my sister. And so then in court the next day, she would stand up and say, well, I talked to Aaron yesterday, and he said he wants to live with his sister till he's 18 instead of going home.
And what was wrong with that?
It was a lie.
Because I didn't say, I said I wanted to go home.
Mm-hmm.
So they just all work in collusion like that.
But then when they get you in, even if they get you in with another family member, they know it doesn't work a lot of times because I lived with two of my sisters and it doesn't work. So did my older brother, and it's happened a lot. It's hard for your sister to be your mother.
Right. That's
So
true.
it often doesn't work, and then they end up getting you in these foster care homes because it didn't work there. That's what happened to me. Is didn't work with my sisters or whoever else I lived with. So I ended up having to go to a foster home. The same thing happened with my older brother. Same thing probably happened to my two younger brothers. Well, my younger brother and my younger sister that are in foster care now.
Could you tell me, Mom, when you were saying something earlier about they took your son away and put him in a abusive situation in a neglectful environment?
Well, once Aaron heard he was going to the boys' ranch, and he had talked with the judge, he talked with the caseworker, he adamantly insisted he did not want to go to the boys' ranch. And they were going to force him to go. He said, then I will run away. And so he ran away before he got placed in the boys' ranch. And so when they apprehended him, illegally by the way, but anyway, when they apprehended him, they took him in cuffs and they falsely accused him of a crime that he didn't commit. They took him then to RYDC. He didn't know why he was placed there. He was allowed no contact with his family. Then
With anyone, I didn't have a lawyer, anything. They just took me. They locked me up. That was it. I was locked up for I think it was like 2 weeks, and I had no idea what was happening or what was going on.
And when they brought him for the hearing, well, they didn't really have a hearing. He had at that time
the same judge
he had
that
a public
had-
defender, but you know, she wasn't. She just wanted to know what her part was as far as what the judge wanted her to do. So she's trying to talk Aaron into going to the boys' ranch, and they brought him.
So he had a public defender who didn't care about what Aaron wanted.
No.
And Aaron was old enough to know what he wanted to, who he wanted to live with.
And so she's working with Aaron on the side of the judge and the system to manipulate him into going to the boys' ranch.
Right.
But that's when they took him, when they brought him from RYDC for the hearing, which was just a farce anyway.
It's the same judge that controlled the whole.
Tell about how they took you into that cell.
It's Judge Hurd, the same judge that sent me there, that has our whole family broken up and everything. But before the little hearing that we had, he had me sit. I didn't see him before this, but they put me in this little cell, and the cell was like it was so awful. The toilet was overflowing. Like you would have just had to see it to understand. But the most filthy. There was dead rats up in there's like a screen with lights up above it. There's dead rats in it. I mean, the most awful smelling. I couldn't even sit down. There weren't even any seats, but you couldn't sit on the floor. Like flooded almost, like the toilets overflowed. It was just awful. But they had me in there for a while before I actually went into my little court hearing with Judge Hurd. And then anyway, we talked, and he said something about, are you wanting to go to or will you go to the boys' ranch or whatever? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, good, because if you'd came in here and given me the middle finger, I'd have sent you straight back to YDC. And it was kind of it's just like the control thing. Like he's trying to let me know that he had control of me. But anyway, when he sent me to the boys' ranch, just after I got there, I started planning my escape, and I ended up working it out. And I got a girl to take me from school as soon as I went to school. I got a girl to take me, and I had her take me to the river and stuff like that. But
Now, I wanted to say this. What was the reason for them to remove you from your mother anyway?
Oh, there wasn't. Like, it's not. They don't have a reason. When I looked over the paperwork, there wasn't even a reason. I still can't get an answer. Like, I never could.
They removed you from the home, from school, or what?
They removed me from the home. Well, when are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, from the home.
Okay. No, how did this all started for them to even be in your life? You know what I'm saying?
It started with my sister.
Oh, just an argument between you and your sister or something?
No, it started just with my sister.
Okay.
She's got a lot to do with it. but
Okay.
It happens a lot.
Right.
It's another thing that happens a lot. They get in and defects gets in, and instead of like solving the
Problems, yeah.
that are there,
And they have the money to do that, to make sure you'll be able to have counseling or solve some family problems instead of taking you out the home and putting you in, the situation you was put in.
At that time, Aaron he's very strong-willed anyway. He was a 14-year-old boy who had pretty much decided he was grown.
Right.
And so we were having little issues like he didn't want to get up. We homeschooled. He didn't want to do his schoolwork. But we were dealing with those.
Right.
No drug issues.
Oh, great.
No crime. No, none of that. But then Aaron complained to one of his older sisters, and then she just really blew it out of proportion, and then Defects manipulated her, and she didn't really know that Defects was doing that. They
Right.
want you to say the words they want you to say, and
Yeah.
then it means whatever they
So,
want.
okay, I understand how it went now.
A division
I understand how it went now.
of the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Wow. So they take Aaron out of the home, put him in a place where the toilet's through with, I want to say waste, human waste coming out of it, all in the top. And then they put him in
on the floor.
all on the floor. Now, but then they take him out of a clean home environment and put him in a situation like that and say your situation was neglectful, dealing with the little issues he was dealing with. And they put him in a great big situation that was really neglectful
With
through the
sodomy
system.
and
Yeah.
everything going on.
And then also, he was saying there was nowhere for him to even sit or something other. And they had him handcuffed or something other like that?
Yes.
It's terrible. So I want to thank you for giving us this interview. And we know that we have plenty other parents going through the same thing, grandparents. And so hopefully, somebody put an end to this. This what you call judicial corruption and, defect. What do defect mean? Because a lot of people hear that word. In Michigan, it means we have a child protective service. And then I think they changed it to Department of Human Services or it's another name for it besides what I'm just saying. So what do that name mean?
Defects is Department
Defect.
of Children and Family Services.
Okay, because I know they changed it now in Michigan too, from Child Protective Service to something else. All right, thank you so much for giving us this interview. Today is June the what?
14.
June the 14th, 2016.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.